you so much to the three panelists and to John for his great facilitation. That was really a terrific discussion, and thank you to all of you for hanging in there. This is the last couple of minutes here. So let me wrap us up and close our day. When we first began this research, we wanted to answer two questions. How widespread is precarious employment in our region today? And how is it affecting lives outside of the workplace? It's More Than Poverty helps us better understand what's happening in the community today. The number of us who are in stable, secure, long-term jobs is shrinking. People living in low income are suffering the most. But precarious employment is found across all income levels, and it hurts everyone who experiences it in some way. Perhaps most importantly, this report begins to answer the question, why do we need to act now? We need to act because this trend is hurting individuals, children, and families, and it can destabilize our communities. It's troubling when people are forced to delay important life decisions like getting married, having children, because they have no security or stability at work. We're all worse off when precarious employment prevents people from participating in community. And when jobs aren't a pathway to economic security, there is a serious problem. But it doesn't have to be this way. There are steps we can take to reduce precarious employment and lessen the negative effect it has on our community. We all have a role to play. And at United Way, we pledge to do our part. Our member agencies are serving more and more people who are experiencing temporary, part-time, and contract employment. Our agencies tell us that this issue affects everyone, particularly newcomers and young people who are having a hard time gaining a foothold in the job market. This report reinforces the need for a strong network of agencies that provides skills training, connects people to good jobs, helps families make ends meet, and supports people through times of transition. Our Building Strong Neighborhood strategy is expanding services and building new infrastructure in those areas of our city that need it the most. By building workforce development supports like language training and settlement services to priority neighborhoods, we're laying a foundation for improved economic development. These programs and other supports like health services are helping people at a community level as they cope with job insecurity. And there are other solutions that will help mitigate the effects of precarious employment and reduce its growth to make people less vulnerable and communities more resilient. This report is just the first step. We're committed to further research that looks deeper into the issue and helps us build better understanding of what's happening in our city and what we can do about it. All of this will help inform a conversation about what can be done and where we should begin to focus our efforts. Today is the first step. It's an important first step in a conversation. We're already hearing great ideas and themes begin to emerge. We know that changes in our labor market are rapid and substantial. We need to find ways to make jobs in the new economy more secure. Vulnerability and insecurity are not inevitable. This issue is about much more than social justice. Making workers more secure is good for our collective prosperity and community well-being. The next steps are about coming together. Government must play a leadership role, but each of us must take responsibility to do what we can from where we sit. Going forward, there are a few key questions that should guide the discussion. How do we ensure jobs are a pathway to income and employment and security? How can we best support human capital development? How do we enhance social supports for families and communities? How do we ensure that newcomers, women, and people from racialized communities are involved in the conversation and engaged in developing the solutions? The report outlines an agenda for reform, but it's just a menu of options for addressing precarious employment. In the weeks and months ahead, I look forward to a conversation about innovative policy solutions and to continuing our efforts to look more closely at this issue. Dina suggested that this report should not be a flash in the pan. The people in this room are leaders, the very leaders who will drive the issues and will be there, and we will be there with you, making the change happen. thank you for taking the time to be with us here today. Please keep an eye on our Imagine a City blog, imagineacity.ca. Micheline Laflèche will be sharing a post on today's symposium, and we invite you to comment as well and share your reflections. Finally, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you for staying right through to the end of the day. Thank you for your active participation, and I thank you now for what you're going to do to move this issue forward. Thank you, and have a good night.